The following is a Live the Dream Media production.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Local Marana. Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's a little chilly out there this morning, or at least that's my take on it. Anything under 70 is chilly. Hey, we've got a special guest in the house this morning, and it's somebody that I've known your grandfather, Joseph, for, we were doing math, probably somewhere around 15 years, your dad about 15 years, a lot of your family. Joseph Parsons Jr., welcome to the podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
It's Parsons Steel, everybody, if you're not familiar with that. And like my wife said to me this morning when we got up, she goes, how cool for you. You get to go hang out with a cowboy all morning. So we're going to touch a little bit on that first. Right. Parsons Steel, I'm going to guess and say, I asked your dad one time, I'm going to say that this probably is pretty accurate with you. I said to your dad, Joe Sr.,
yeah,
hey, have you ever had a paycheck from anybody but Parsons Steel? And he said he worked for his father-in-law one summer baling hay, but he got paid cash.
Yeah.
So you were born into the steel company. I'm guessing with your dad being, is he are you the president now?
No, my dad is.
Yeah.
My grandpa retired, I think, about 2 years ago. It was always him before that. So, now my dad is. But, yeah, that's the only place I've ever worked since we were little kids.
Yeah.
At one point, my dad and uncle and grandpa were all partners, and we had the Marana stockyards as well, the ranches. And I always kind of gravitated towards that. I wanted to be a cowboy, and I liked agriculture. So I grew up working mainly for my uncle, but the family business still.
Yeah.
And I remember, like when I was 18 years old, as soon as I was of age, my grandpa and dad had me get my CDL. And like if me or Cutter, if we were home, not rodeo and not at school, we were working. Yeah. And there were multiple days like we would get off school and we'd go and run a load of steel or go help my uncle at the cell barn. So from day one, since we were kids, we all always worked.
Yeah. Hey, two things we have in common. First off, baling hay is the toughest job I've ever had.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at my size, throwing them bales.
Yeah.
That's the toughest gig I ever had. And I have hauled probably 500 loads of steel. Yeah. In my day, I had a CD. I did heavy haul, but I did a lot of steel, and that's the toughest of all the stuff I've ever done. Because steel is so, you better know what you're doing if you're going to transport a load of steel.
Yeah, it's real hard to haul. Even though it's heavy, it's real slippery. People don't understand that. Yeah, I remember we had a job at the Biosphere for the U of A, and we called them. In different shops, everything. Get its own name. We called them the bird wings, and they were just big misshaped pieces of steel. And as you would drive, they would shift a little bit, and it would take me about 6 hours per load because every 20, 30 minutes I have to stop and tighten the chains on the side of the road.
It's shaking out, it's shaking over.
Yeah, I'd much rather haul livestock than steel any day.
Or a building, or a tractor, or anything like that. Anything, but actually steel would be at the bottom of my list of things to haul. And the big rolls, you ever haul the big rolls of steel? Because those can just snap, and they weigh like one of those rolls, just in case you're driving by them, on the highway. They weigh about 7,000 pounds per roll, and sometimes more than that. And there's really no way you can secure them, and most times you get there, but you got a problem with a chain, you're done.
Yeah. No, steel's real tricky. Since I've hauled it, anytime I'm driving down the road and I see steel trucks, I'm always watching how do they secure it? Because I don't want to learn the trick because I haven't found a great way yet.
Do you still haul it?
If I have
you
to.
Still got a CDL?
Yeah.
Mine's retired. You can't bring me out of retirement, so I'm not going to haul your steel for you. But
Yeah. No, I kept my CDL, and we're trying to get some CDL drivers, but the problem now is it's a lot harder to get now.
Yeah.
There's mandatory school, and it's when we got it, it wasn't bad. You study, you take a physical, a test, go drive, you got it. Now it's like a 6-week course or something like that. It's hard to get.
Yeah. Yeah, steel's tough. So shout out to all. I've hauled I've hauled hay. I hauled a load of hay one time. That is not fun.
That's not fun either.
But you're probably not gonna kill anybody with a bale of hay. Whereas some steel can really cause.
Yeah.
When you mentioned the shuffling, I can just see myself, like you say, it take you really almost to the end.
Yeah.
Wherever you were taking it. because it just moves around inside there. There's just no way to. You can belly wrap it all you want, and you can chain it down all you want. But when you, especially with this kind of steel that you move, beams, for lack of a better time, they just move around.
Yeah, we always when we bring on a new driver, we sit them down and go over all of our rules for like strapping procedure and how we want things stacked, and we let them know like that is our biggest liability is something coming off on the road. So I said if the driver's in charge of the load, if the shop stacks it, if you don't like it, you make them change it because you're responsible when you pull out of there. And if you can take the frontage road, I tell them to take the frontage road.
Yeah.
But we make them stop and check, and it's you gotta be careful.
Yeah. See, I've already learned something about you this morning. It's something we have in common.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, and I saw, by the way, speaking of your grandfather and the lifestyle, the last time I saw your grandfather, Charlie, was maybe 3 months. Time flies. Out at the stockyards having lunch one day. I hadn't seen him forever. The last time I saw him, like a horse had kicked him, or
do
you remember how long? So that's been like 3 or 4 years ago, maybe a little longer than that.
He's he's a tough old guy. He's always got something.
Is he in his late 80s? I would guess, right?
I was thinking
because your dad and I think are the same age.
My dad just turned 68 in October.
Okay, your dad's a tad bit older.
Yeah, I think my grandpa is 89 or just turned 90.
Yeah,
he just had a birthday in August, and you know how you talk about it. You always say, "Oh, you're getting close to 90, getting close to 90." So I'm not sure if he's actually 90
or the next one's 90.
Yeah, but he's right there.
Yeah, your grandpa and your dad too, to a lesser degree, but your grandfather and I have had long-winded conversations over at the bakery when he'd be over there, and I hope I'm not squealing him out, but he'd like, "Hey, give me a little extra icing on there. Do you got any cookies to go with?"
He's always had a sweet tooth, and anytime when I was a kid, he'd take me to lunch. Would always after every lunch was either a cookie or cinnamon roll or milkshake.
Yeah. He's a really good dude. Your dad.
Oh, yeah.
I saw your dad about. I used to see him a lot when they'd come in. We talked about this off camera. They used to get their hair cut here, so I'd see him every 3 to 4 weeks, and then they'd sneak in and grab a cinnamon roll or a cookie or something, and occasionally lunch. But I saw your father about a year ago out at Post. At the pumpkin patch, there was something going on out there, and I saw him just looking.
Was it the pumpkin patch, or was it like another event out there?
It was an event. What was it, David? Do you remember? You were there. Do you remember David Samarano? Let's give him a shout out in what Christopher DeSimone refers to as the meat locker. He's actually running the show back there. Raul's out on a project this morning.
Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. I was communicating with somebody else on some other software on here. So what was the question about?
The question was when we saw Joe at the pumpkin patch, what was the event? Do you remember? Was it like a chamber mixer or what was that?
Yeah, it was a chamber mixer. Yeah. Yep, that's what it was.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, it was a cool day.
Yeah, he was a good dude. I always liked him. So I want to talk about something else for a little bit. Steel and all that, we'll come back to it. And, your family, I think your grandfather started Parsons Steel. Is it like 50 years plus?
52 years, I think.
52?
I think 72, so going on 53 here.
Yeah, he told me that, and I'll get into that a little bit later, but like I say, my wife said, you get to hang out with a cowboy this morning. Let's talk about that a little bit, because you spent a lot of time on the circuit, for lack of a better word, right?
Yeah, I did. I was out there a long time. I think so. I graduated high school in 03, and then the first few years, like 04, 05, 06, I would go over the summer pretty hard, but I was still going to school. I was going to college, and I think 06 I had a pretty good year. And the way it works is there are major rodeos that you need to do good at in order to qualify for, say, Las Vegas, and you have to go the year before to get into those. So in 2006 I had a pretty good year. In 2007 was the first year I went real hard, and I qualified to all the good rodeos. And from 07 until about 2016, probably 17, I was gone.
All summer.
All year. I was gone 300 days a year. I was gone most of winter.
So did you live that rodeo life? You got your truck, you got your trailer?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And away you go.
Yep. And I would come home more than most guys because we always had, family business and, cousins and, I liked being home.
Yeah.
But I was gone. I was gone a bunch.
What about that? I just think of Chris Ledoux when you talk about that. It's just there's just like a magic or a romance to that lifestyle to me. It's like I can hear who I guess it's George Strait. I Can Still Make Cheyenne.
Yeah.
It's kind of a theme song in the back of my head.
Yeah, that's a great one.
There's just it's almost got to be like I hate to use this word, but it's got to be almost like a drug. I mean, to be in that environment.
It is. It is like that, and it's hard to ever like truly get over. Like for now, like I love competing. I love the roping. I love my horses. I love getting stuff ready, but I don't like being gone anymore. Yeah. So it's definitely like it's a young guy sport. And you're talking about that song. That song, it kind of says a lot about the mindset you have to have. He just lost his girl, but he says that's all right. Yeah. If I hurry, I can still. Yeah. And that's the mindset.
Love you, baby, but
if I hurry, I can still.
Yeah.
And that's the mindset, that you got to have. Anyone who's doing any good out there, that 100% comes first.
Yeah. That's true in business, though. I'm sure you see that in your own in your. Now you mentioned getting it all ready. I don't want to leave that completely there. Do you still participate at all?
I do. I do. So one thing that's good about rodeo and compared to other sports, like when you're done with when you're too old to play in the NBA, you have nothing.
You're
else
done.
To do.
Yeah, you're done.
Or with baseball or football. Yeah. So rodeo, like there's a circuit system. So you're just competing against guys in like the turquoise circuit is my circuit. It's Arizona and New Mexico, and so it's basically there's a few kids that are still going hard who happen to live here, but it's a bunch of working men who work all week and go on the weekends. So you're still able to get your feel on competition and
how often do you do that?
I probably go to 20 places a year.
Okay.
So
a couple times a month, roughly?
Yeah. And
is that more year round, or is it more a certain time of the season? Or?
No, it's year round. Like there's stuff, like I was at our circuit finals up in Camp Verde just last weekend. And then not this week, but next weekend I have it's the Grand Canyon Professional Rodeo Association. It's like a little Arizona circuit. It's up in Buckeye. So there's quite a few things to go to.
What do you do in New Mexico? Where are they located over there?
Las Cruces, Albuquerque, Santa Fe.
Okay.
So, amongst others, I mean, there's a bunch. There's Socorro, Lovington. There's a bunch of stuff.
Because I used to spend a lot of time in New Mexico driving, and I was telling my wife the other day, I haven't been there in years, but I want to go and start hanging out there a little bit in Ruidoso.
Yeah.
Now it's a different. That's different horses. I mean, those are quarter horses.
Yes, sir.
That race, but that's always like a really cool little. Always was a little cool town. Do I hear a little interlude for a little break, David? I do.
Yes, sir. It's ad time, so I thought I'd throw this on.
Oh yeah, that's great.
All right.
Good song.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Discover the power of 88 Crime, where your anonymous tips are rewarded with cash. When you call in anonymously with the tip, you are given a code. With the code and a password, you can walk into a bank and redeem your reward anonymously. If your anonymous tip results in a felony arrest, you can claim up to $2,500 cash reward. Let's stop the silence on crime and strive for a safer community. For more information, please visit 88crime.org or call 88crime.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, CopperCreekCookies.net. we can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies, we deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, CopperCreekCookies.net.
Your favorite radio just got bigger, bolder, and better connected. Live the Dream Media is revolutionizing how you stay tuned in. With our explosive growth in online radio and our brand new mobile app, your entertainment goes wherever you do. Stream your favorite shows, discover new hits, and connect with audiences across the digital landscape, all at your fingertips. Advertisers, don't miss out. Join our expanding digital network and reach engaged listeners across platforms. Download the Live the Dream Media app today and experience radio reimagined.
Okay, so we're still on. Facebook didn't kick us off for playing. Have you still got that queued up?
I do.
Play us just a little bit more of that real quick before we get back to
10 seconds.
Joseph. Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I know what you were going to say. I know what you were going to say. Don't do it.
I won't.
Okay.
You haven't got the censor button ready, have you?
No.
Okay. Hey guys, go listen to this song. This is one of my favorite. Actually, this is one of my favorite George Strait songs. I was never in the rodeo. I used to ride a few horses as a kid, but when you live the life that I lived as a driver, and I wasn't married at the time, and I actually met my wife on the road, that's the lifestyle you kind of live.
Yeah,
it's like, great to see you. Do you ever hear the song Guitar Town by Stephen Earle?
Maybe.
I'm heading up, loading out of here tonight.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like one of these days I'll take you with me back to Guitar Town.
Yeah.
What do we got? I hear some buzzing or some talking. Is that you?
Yeah, sorry about that. I was checking the stream, and I have my mic on because I'm a rookie. I haven't been here in a while. So.
That's why we put him in there every now and then to make sure everybody still knows their old jobs. Yeah. So let's talk about the steel company. I saw you recently at the Marana Food Bank.
Yes, sir.
You guys did an incredible job with that, with the awning. Let me ask you a question. This is going to come PVV, I've known Pete forever.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Pete is the second longest tenured person I know in this valley.
Okay.
He was introduced to me by Edgar Soto when Edgar Soto was the head coach down at Pima Community College, and the young man you met a minute ago is Edgar's nephew.
Okay, cool.
And if you know him very well, you can listen to him and you think Edgar's in the room. But did Pete? I'm asking you this. Did Pete have something to do with that awning? Because somebody said that Pete maybe contributed something to that, and I've never asked him, but I'll ask you.
To my knowledge, no.
Okay.
But I mean, that doesn't mean
that didn't mean it didn't happen.
No.
That was the long story short. When the new Marana Food Bank went in place, they put up an awning out there, and they got it up like a week.
Yeah. And
we had one of those microbursts come through and threw it across the parking lot, and your dad got involved in it. And go on the Live to Dream Media, the local Marana, and look at this piece of work. It is that's first class, man.
Hey, Clint, I got a comment in here for this. Joe is a great man from Cody Tripp. Just wanted to let you know. Hey, cool. Clint, I'm going to put this up there for the viewers and listeners. They can call in to chat with you guys.
Okay, that's 520-477-1106 if you want to talk to Joseph.
Yeah, if you want, you have questions for him, you want to
call
jump
him
into
up,
conversation.
Cody. Tell him how great he is.
Yeah, jump in with us, man. Thanks, Clint.
Yeah, we've known Cody a long time.
Yeah,
he's a good dude. You worked over here for Anton
yeah, Cody's a good guy.
I met Cody when he was a kid.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, all these guys I know, I've known them since they were, even now, like Anton. Do you know Anton? Good dude.
I don't.
He owns Innovative Science, and I was thinking the other day, I've known Anton since he was in his 20s, and now he's in his mid-40s.
Yeah.
That's weird to me because I haven't aged a lick, and you guys all went from kids to grown men.
Yeah, that's what's kind of funny is like rodeo, like I don't feel like I'm the old guy at all anymore. But like this last weekend, I'm 40, and there's some kids there that are 18, 19, And when I was 18 or 19, a 40-year-old, I was like, man, that guy's getting old.
You're that guy.
I'm that guy. I'm that guy.
That's funny.
It's funny how fast it goes.
You know what? You mentioned your dad's 68. I'll be 67 here pretty shortly. I knew we were pretty close to the same age. It just happens. I bet if you ask your dad, and you probably have, it just happens so fast.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad, I asked him, my dad passed away when he was 69, so he was 60 or 65 when I asked him this, and I'm like, how does that feel? And I was in my early 30s, and he's like, I don't feel much different than I did when I'm a kid. And I'm thinking, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And now that I'm here, I'm like, the only time I think about it really is when I look in the mirror to shave, and I'm like, oh, who is that guy?
Yeah.
I kind of recognize him.
Yeah, it's always weird, like when you go, you see someone that you went to high school with that you haven't seen in 15, 20 years, you're like, man, they gotten old.
Isn't that weird?
And they're probably looking at me thinking like, man, he looks old.
So do you, with Parsons Steel, that's your job. You probably put in a lot of time, and then every other weekend or so you're on the rodeo circuit, right? Is that?
Yeah, and I'm at the point now I enter kind of around work. If we have something real important going on a weekend, I'll just not enter that rodeo or not go.
Right.
So work definitely. The difference now is work comes first.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I didn't have an important enough role. If I was gone, it didn't matter. But now I'm at a point where, there's certain things I need to be there for.
Yeah. Can I guess and just say, with your dad being the number one guy, even at his age, you're the number two guy? Is that? I don't.
I don't know about that.
How's that? Just tell me. Explain your.
So my dad and Tom Glenn, he's a guy that come over. I think like 42 years ago. My dad and Grandpa understood the erection side of it. Tom understood the fabrication side of it. And at the time, Parsons Steel was just an erector, so we were always dependent on fabricators. And my dad got tired of being on site and not having the right steel. So he asked my grandpa, he said, I want to start fabricating. And my grandpa said, well, we're not set up for it. And my dad said, well, I know a guy who does. And he was working at a different steel company back then. He was kind of running their shop, and my dad brought him over. I mean, like I said, it's been 42 years, and it's kind of, so it's my dad and him for sure. And then kind of like there's a handful of us, like my sister, has her area. She's like billing, receiving contracts.
Now, which sister is that?
Emily.
Emily, okay.
Yeah. So it's her, and then my little sister takes care of like all payables and whatnot. And then we have it kind of broke up. So, it's my dad and Tom definitely on top. And then there's a handful of us kind of all right there.
Middle management, for lack of a better word, I guess. Much. You know what? That is so cool. I love those stories. That's when your grandfather and I would talk about this. I love family stories. We're a family business.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And it's not always blood, because David's not blood, but he's family. People see me with his kids, and they're like, are those your grandkids? And I'm like, well, long story short, yes. Yeah, I can't separate blood from the chosen people that I do work with.
You talk about family, so our
I knew who that was. Come on in, Ron Arenas. You know Ron Arenas?
I don't.
Pixel Rocks Heating and Cooling, Joseph Parsons, Parsons Steel. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So our core staff, so it's of course my dad, myself, and my two sisters, and then Tom Glenn is like right up there with my dad.
Yeah.
Well, his son works for us.
Okay.
And Tom's brother, Jim, he ran the shop for 40 years. He's retired a few years ago. Our new shop foreman is someone that they knew since he was a little kid.
They were all,
our detailing department, like drawing and drafting, he's been with us for like 15 years now. He went to school with my little sister, his whole entire time. Our field, David, he runs the men in the field. His grandpa worked for my grandpa. His dad and uncle worked for my grandpa and my dad. And he's been with us for like 25 years.
I ken that kind of. I mean, we're lucky that we get to that we get to do life that way. I mean, we're really fortunate that I know I am, and I know you feel that way too. It's kind of like a family musical group.
Yeah.
You can't match that with any other, when like a family sings together. Let's say there's 4 brothers and they all sing together. You can't replicate that any other way.
Yeah.
It's just, each other's, I mean, for 40 years you guys have been, so some of these guys have been there longer than you've been alive.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just, everybody just knows what they need to do intuitively.
Yeah.
That's why I think you guys have got, what'd you say, 52 years?
52 years, yeah. And so it's that, and like what I like about it, and I've said this a bunch to people, and I don't know if it'll make sense or not, but if someone called me and said, hey, this happened, David or Joel or someone did this, I would know if it was true or not. I could say, David didn't do that.
Yeah.
Joel didn't do that.
Yeah.
Like you would know if, so that's what I like about it. And there are some guys that you don't know. You're like, well, he might have done that.
Yeah, we'll have to find out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Do a little research.
Show me the footage.
So what do you guys primarily build? Is there like a primary thing that you guys really are good at and you enjoy doing, or just
anything structural we do? My dad and Tom Staines will do anything from a handrail to a high rise.
Yeah.
So we do little decorative stuff, but just kind of heavy duty structural stuff. We like the industrial work. One thing that we always say is we do a lot of the stuff that no one else wants to do. A lot of the tricky, hard stuff.
That's so key to success. Just doing things that the average person just says, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. There's a bunch of jobs that like a general will call and say, hey, we've talked to 5 guys about this. They come and look. They never call us back. And that's a lot of stuff that we do. But we got a lot of talented guys. So
what are you working on now? You got anything special you're working on that you can talk about?
The one that we're very proud of because it's in Marana is the Marana Aquatic Center. Have you been out there? And
I
seen
have.
That? Yeah, we did all the steel on that for Chase.
Man, that's coming along too, and I was just out there a couple of weeks ago. Man, every time I go by there, because I go out and get the mayor and run him around, and I was there a couple of months ago, and then I was there a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, wow, they've done a bunch of work since I was here last.
Yeah, that one we're proud of that. It's in our hometown, of course. We'll all go there, I'm sure. Have memberships. It's a cool looking building. It's kind of like a work of art, really.
Yeah, it really is.
So we're doing that one. That's our big project right now. So
there's some pictures of that on Local Marana we posted when I was there a couple of weeks ago. I always come out of the town center and cut across the parking lot, that big gravel/dirt parking lot, because you get a good angle at it. And there's some really cool pictures. Yeah. Did you guys have anything to do with the fire department? Did you do anything?
No, we did not.
Okay.
No,
it's just the reason I mention that. It's just such a beautiful setup, the way that is all sitting there.
Yeah,
that
it's just south of that new fire department.
Yeah, it's like crazy how that part of downtown Marana it is now.
Yeah, Marana's done a good job. I'm on the Planning and Zoning Commission down there. Marana's done a good job. So there's a lot of good stuff going on.
Just kind of like off the record, but I'll ask you because we're on the record. Have you dealt with? I'm with the Oro Valley Church of the Nazarene, OVCN. Have you met with them? Because there was some. They met with different people. I don't know. I'll tell you this: you guys get us. You get what we're doing.
Yeah. I don't know if I've seen anything from there or not. I've been on there for like 3 years now.
Okay.
I don't remember all.
This would be like really current.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we're voting Tuesday, the board, on some property that we're gonna come.
Yeah.
We're gonna come. And that was one of them Ed Honey's. Ed Honey, I called him yesterday, the day before, and I'm like, they're having the last of the town hall meetings at the church next Saturday. And I'm like, you should be there, because he and I in a car out here a couple of years ago, this is where that whole conversation started. I said, you were there at the beginning. You're the father of this. Yeah. Like for you to see the end of this. So
that's cool.
So when it comes to you, Joseph, we need. Well, you know why it happened? Oro Valley didn't want what we were.
They didn't want it.
They didn't want it, and it's our own money on our own property.
Yeah.
No different than we're right there next to CDO and James Craig and all that.
Sure.
And they're like, nah. We're not interested in that at all.
Wow.
which floored me in the beginning. And then being a man of faith, I was like, when it played out and Ed and we started with Terry Rosen, got involved, it's like, wow. That's what it should have been all along. We just didn't know any better because the demographics in Marana, we're going to do a youth center is part of what we're going to do. The demographics in Marana are way younger than the demographics in Oro Valley. I live in Oro Valley. Well, here's what Ed tells people. Clint lives in Marana. He sleeps in Oro Valley.
Yeah. I believe that.
So that's what. Well, I've been in this business since 2005. So I've been down in Marana since 2005. So my waking hours are spent in Marana, and I go up there and sleep, and then I come back down.
Come back home.
I love it here. I do. I love Marana. I really do. I mean, Oro Valley's a great place to live, and life's good up there, but it's primarily 55 is the average age in Oro Valley, and 39, which is right in your profile, is the average age in Marana. Well, if you're going to do something for the youth,
exactly.
where are you going to do it?
Yeah, exactly.
And the corridor, the geographic, and I was talking to Ed yesterday or the day before. The things that have happened in Marana are not by accident. Yeah, there's some good geographically couldn't be located better. You're right. On 10 runs through the middle, and I've been coming here long enough that I remember like the old school out there. I hear you, David. Was just a Circle K and the gas station across the street, and that little grocery store. There he is with some more Billy the Kid. We're going to go to another quick commercial break. Let them sponsors tell everybody how great they are, and they are awesome. And then we'll be back with Joseph Parsons Jr. in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Discover the power of 88 Crime, where your anonymous tips are rewarded with cash. When you call in anonymously with the tip, you are given a code. With the code and a password, you can walk into a bank and redeem your reward anonymously. If your anonymous tip results in a felony arrest, you can claim up to $2,500 cash reward. Let's stop the silence on crime and strive for a safer community. For more information, please visit 88crime.org or call 88crime.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
Your favorite radio just got bigger, bolder, and better connected. Live the Dream Media is revolutionizing how you stay tuned in. With our explosive growth in online radio and our brand new mobile app, your entertainment goes wherever you do. Stream your favorite shows, discover new hits, and connect with audiences across the digital landscape, all at your fingertips. Advertisers don't miss out. Join our expanding digital network and reach engaged listeners across platforms. Download the Live the Dream Media app today and experience radio reimagined.
And we are back with Clint's Country Hour with Joseph Parsons. We're
we're pushing it today.
That's what we do all the time.
We're licensed
David?
to do this stuff, but I was telling Ron back here, he was asking about it. So the viewers and listeners. So on our stream, if we put music out, even if we've used stuff in the background that's from Adobe, we have to send a license every time. We'll get smacked.
Yeah.
Don't do that. So we had to send a license. So we're gonna see what happens today. They might shut us down, but we're gonna risk it.
But hey, we love living on the edge. We got no problem.
Hey, can I ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sir Joseph here. What is the biggest accolade you have accomplished in rodeo events?
Good question.
Something you've been involved in. What's the biggest one that stands out to you that you were really, really proud of?
As far as an accomplishment?
Yeah.
Probably in 2010, I made it to the national finals in Las Vegas, which, if guys don't know, that's the Super Bowl of rodeo.
Yeah.
Over 100 guys go all year long to 100 rodeos, and only the top 15 get to go. And
wow, that's crazy.
And that was pretty special to me because there's only been, calf roping is what I do. It's not huge on the west, out west. It's bigger back in Texas or whatnot. There's only been a few guys from Arizona ever qualify, and so that one sticks out the most. Like, I've won around here as a kid. I've won at the high school level. I won at the circuit level around here. But making it back there stands out the most.
But isn't calf roping, isn't that like the most skilled of the rodeo? I mean, riding a bronc is tough. There's no doubt. Yeah. But that's just being able to hang on for 8.
No, I mean, everyone's hard. Every single.
But I mean, as far
hard.
as the skilled.
Yeah, the calf roping is hard because you're having to dismount your horse, and there's a lot of athletics involved. So, it's
I'm not
tough.
minimizing riding a broncs. That looks crazy, by the way. Yeah. But to actually catch rope, catch, jump off, tie, do the flip, and be judged by time and effort, that seems to me like that was more like the toughest of what. Yeah. Am I wrong in that? Because barrel riding, again, that's. Yeah. I mean, there's just so much to do with the roping.
Every event, there's so much stuff going on. They're all just different. I wouldn't say it's any more than anything else, but it's definitely.
Well, I say he's humble, but we both know that's pretty tough. That's pretty tough. I've seen them but it's like you say, like a great athlete. It looks easy until you go do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I'm proud of a lot of things that I've done with that because that's a lot of work and a lot of time and effort. But, back that, our state, there's only like 3 or 4 competitors, at the finals that year from Arizona. So to represent Arizona and kind of be known for that sticks out.
That's very cool.
That sticks out probably the most.
That's very cool. That's the one you got the big poster of, right?
Yeah.
The big buckle and the big picture of that one.
Yeah.
In a steel frame?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
You guys gave Ed something not too long ago. What was it? Let me think of what.
Was it some brands?
Yeah. Like in the last 6 months, he was showing me some stuff that you guys had brought him. I'm talking about Ed Honey, the
I think
mayor
we
of
made him
Marana.
some brands. We burnt some brands out just like for decoration. Yeah. We did that. I know we burned out of steel, the Marana PD, a bunch of like large like.
I saw that. Yeah. I saw those.
That was
too.
for Officer Jimenez. He kind of requested those, and he was my he was the on-site officer when I was in junior high. And we stayed buddies ever since then. So he asked for those. So we burnt, 15 or 20 of those, maybe more.
Yeah. Again, I'm gonna plug Marana because I do it all the time. It's people like your father, your grandfather that built this community, and I have great deal of respect for that. That's part of the reason why when I saw you recently and I asked you to go on, that's important. Yeah. And I tell Ed that all the time. We've got to keep those stories alive of how we got here. It's too easy to gloss over, and you see all the new subdivisions going in and the new houses being built. But to me, and I'm getting older, so there's more of a nostalgia for me than maybe a younger person. But I always want to know how we got here because to me, how we got here is pretty important of where we're going to go. Yeah. And you have been here your whole life, so for 4 decades, and you have probably seen and people that, for example, Melissa Zuppi, part of the Post family, just a sweetheart. Her and Ryan and her kids are just they're just some of the best people I know. And I'm like, tell me what it looked like when you were, say, in high school versus what it looks like now. This is not the same community, is it?
Well, first of all, Melissa and Ryan's son, Matt Zuppi, he works for us out there.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, he's a great kid.
Yeah, they're awesome kids.
He leaves and goes to school, but when he's home, he's working for us. He's a good kid. He'll be able to do whatever he wants to do. He got a work ethic and he's
Where's
smart.
he going to school? Somewhere like in
I think in Idaho.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, but he's a good kid. And like I said, you see kids like that, work ethic and smart. He can do, whatever he wants. Yeah. But, it's interesting. When someone says Marana, I think about R&R Pizza, the Chevron.
I love that place.
That is Marana to me. I love it.
And that was the only thing here when I first started coming to Marana before I even moved here. Yeah. I delivered at that little grocery store that was maybe next to R&R or
Marana Market.
Yeah. Yeah. And it looks different now because they put a new facade on it. But that was back in late 80s, early 90s. I've lost track of time now over the years. But
and then do you remember the Kenny's Market? He used to have like the arcade and the movie riddle, like you go rent a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? But then to watch what we've got now, Tangerine really to the west side, I don't even know, did it even have I mean, I know we could come east because I live off of Tangerine. Now we've got all the big warehouses there. Yeah. We got Gladden Farms there. We got the new Fry's that we just opened, say a month or so ago.
Yeah,
it's just wild.
It'd be interesting if you could take someone and like they're here, like say in high school, and were gone for 20 years and came back. I mean, and just
I don't think they could. I don't think they know where they were at.
They'd get lost because it happens slowly, so we see it kind of change gradually. Yeah. But if you were away for even 5 or 6 years, there's so many houses out there. And
well, I remember at Cotero here, and it was like one of my favorite little spots. And this is back in the 80s. The only thing there was the McDonald's.
Yep.
When you went west of the freeway, big dirt parking lot, so there was plenty of room to move around over there. And that was the only thing there. Yeah. And now we've got this we got a problem over there, by the way.
Yeah.
With getting people moved around and the railroad tracks.
Yeah, it's bad.
Got a whole housing developments and shopping centers. I mean, we'll get to that, but and I talked to Ed. We talked to Ed and Patty and John Officer and those guys a lot about that. We got to be more in front of some of this stuff moving forward. Yeah. It just happens so fast.
Growing faster than we're prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you leave Cotero at the wrong time and you come back like from like say like the Walmart going back to the freeway, you can be 20, 30 minutes just getting
a few hundred feet.
Yeah, it's not good.
I was talking to a guy yesterday that's he's from Oregon originally, but he's been traveled around the world. We still don't have the traffic problems that most people have. Yeah. Even including, Phoenix has got highways everywhere, but really traffic's not too bad.
It's not bad.
There. Yeah. Go to LA, go to Chicago, go to New York, go to Atlanta. Yeah. If you've been in any of those places, that's where traffic is stupid.
That's kind of like when we complain about it being cold.
Look at me, I'm all dressed.
It's not really that cold.
No. What's the coldest you've ever been? You're rodeoing, so you've probably been a lot of places, Wyoming and places. What's the coldest you've ever been?
I was in Amarillo one time, picking up a horse.
Amarillo. Now hear what he just said. Amarillo, Texas.
Yeah. And it was like -1 or 2, and they said with wind chill it was like -8 or 9.
Yeah.
And we were out there. I picked up a horse, and I was like, this is different.
Amarillo has a weird, that climate through there is weird. The coldest I've ever been, I was in the Illinois National Guard in 1977, and I remember that because Jimmy Carter was inaugurated president during the time we were in Brainerd, Minnesota, sleeping in tents in Brainerd, Minnesota, which is on the Canadian border, and the temperature, not the chill factor, got 30 and 40 below.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Well, I didn't go out.
Yeah,
they're like, you can do this, and I'm like, nah, I'm not going out.
Yeah,
what are you going to do? Confine me to the barracks? Well, yay.
Yeah. I think I'd rather deal with our heat.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'd rather deal. I remember being in Arizona. I didn't live here at the time. I moved here in 91, but probably in about 88 when it was the hottest day on record. It was like 122 up in Eloy, Casa Grande, that area. Yeah. And I remember just...
Yeah,
and yet it's okay. It's way better than what I just described. Yeah, because you can die in that in like minutes, and at least here you can go find a shade tree or air conditioning. Yeah. I know I'm a sissy. I grew up in the Midwest, and zero is something I'm very familiar with. Yeah, I'll take 100 over 0 any day
for sure.
Any day, there's no question about it.
Yeah, for sure.
So we got a few minutes left. I don't want to leave any, at least for this first time in. We're gonna have you back because, again, like I say, I love talking Marana.
Yeah.
And no one's more Marana than the Parsons family.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have just been here. I think your your grandfather, he got here basically the time he started the steel company, right? Isn't that? He started it soon after being here.
Soon after, they came from New Mexico. And I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure exactly the timetable on that.
Yeah, 50. We know 52 years ago, maybe a little bit before that. Yeah. And I'd have to have Charlie or your dad refresh my memory, but I think he started it pretty immediately.
Yeah.
After coming, and your father and your uncle were like kids at the time, and I remember he was like, I had to figure out a way to feed these guys, and they were young, strong guys, and so he got into the steel business.
Yeah. One thing you talk about Marana, turn into what it has is, what interests me is a lot of the forgotten history. For example, my other grandpa, John Paddock. I don't know if you ever knew him or not.
I didn't know.
He was one of the first to really move out there to where we're at, and kind of start developing a lot of that land. And very few people know that. So there's this. It's great now. It's irrigated, and a lot of people are living out there. And there's a lot of men who had things to do with certain areas that no one ever knows about, and that's interesting to me.
It is to me.
Yeah,
it is to me. My mother passed away pretty in the last couple of months, and that's one of the things that we spent, especially the last little bit of her life, was making sure we were getting on at least audio, if not video, of that stuff. Because so often it passes you, and that's why I have Ed in a lot and bring him in. I love people that's local coming in and sharing their stories, because if we don't start capturing it now, and I'm going to throw this out to you right now, I want to even do more history on Marana, more from a documentary, for the lack of a better way of putting it, or books or stuff like that. The Orame, they just did the Orame stuff. That's important to me. Maybe I'm just an old guy that geeks out on history, but I think it's important that we capture that while we can.
Yeah, no, there is our last planning and zoning meeting was 2 weeks ago tonight. And they had they had some stuff set up right out front there. And then, before the meeting, I had a little bit of time. I was reading it, and there are a lot of things that I've been here my whole life I should know, and I didn't. And you're like, man, what a amazing person.
Well, I'm a member of the Marana Food Bank.
Yeah, sure.
And when I start hearing the stories from Patty Comerford, who was Orame was her mentor, I guess, for the lack of a better word, and telling the stories about how she drug trailers in from different places so they could serve people, and the stuff that they do. Yeah. To name a park after her is great, but we got to be able to keep. So when they asked me to be involved, it's like to keep her legacy alive. Well, that's the least we can do at this point. Yeah. Is she built that, and how do we sustain that?
Yeah, it's that forgotten history that needs to, people need to know.
Or at least I do. Am I wrong? I mean,
no,
I'm glad to see younger people like yourself that are into that, because I think it's so important that we know how we got here. Because again, I think it's like the heritage stuff is so important. And that's why with the park and the donkey they found, I can't think of his name, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm like, that is so cool, because that takes us back to where we were. So I just know that we stand, and we got a lot of really cool equipment in there. Matter of fact, we bought some camera equipment the other day that one of David's family members go, "What are you guys going to do? Start making movies?" And he said, "Well, Clint kind of wants to, so maybe we will." So we stand ready to capture that stuff, especially with the people like your grandfather that saw. Well, Marana wasn't a town when your grandfather moved here. They didn't incorporate until 1977, and 52 years makes that 1972 when your grandfather moved here. So it's people like your grandfather and Orame and people, the Post family and the Honey family, are the reason why we even have a Marana. And not only should we celebrate them and revere their memories but we need to do a better job telling that story.
Yeah, and I think like the Glen Farms area, it's a great area. Like the great houses, great walkways. It's nice over there. But there's a lot of people living there, enjoying all that they don't even
see. That's the point.
They have no idea. Like there used to be cotton right here. There used to be a ditch right here. There used to be, workers used to take their lunch right here.
Yeah.
And there's things like that they have no idea.
Yeah.
And you kind of wish they did.
Yeah, I think it's important. So just know that when you have those passions and yearnings, we do too. Mm-hmm. So if we can help you tell those, because they're your stories, not mine. I didn't get here till 2002.
Yeah.
And like I say, I don't even technically live in community. Although Ed has said a few times, why don't you move over here? And I'm like, I'm getting old. I don't want to have to move, but maybe one more time. So maybe we'll buy that property there. I'm not joking, but that property right there at that hole in the wall, you know what I'm talking about? Moore and Thornydale.
Okay,
the Gerber baby family, that corner right there, the east side going in there. I've always wanted to buy that. That just looks like a great piece of property. And I said, what I do is build all my family, my kids and stuff, their own little living quarters and have like one big compound. And I say compound, and I'm like, not that. Ed goes, well, can you save me a spot there? And I'm like, well, how much square footage do you need?
Yeah,
Ed?
how much you need?
Yeah. If we do, we'll get Parsons Steels to build it. Because actually my wife wants to build, and I'm gonna help her. She's always helped me live my dreams out. And I said, well, I'll help you. She wants to build like a little resort there. And I'm like, it's great as long as we don't have to rent it to anybody that actually make a living off of it. Sounds great. This is fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This has been a lot of fun. Will you come back?
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah. We need to get you in here more. I do want to again shout out to everybody here in Marana. I love doing business in Marana. I love living here. I love spending time here. I feel like again, I didn't get here till I was in my 40s, but this is my hometown now.
Yeah.
And I really feel that.
Yeah.
When I drive up and down the street, and that's because people like, especially your grandfather, your father, and the people that we've mentioned, created that environment. Yeah. And I want to do everything we can to sustain that. Yeah. And I love that you tell me that you're on the planning board and zoning and stuff, because that's huge. Yeah. That we don't get crazy and just sell out for the sellout.
No, it matters. Some things are out of your control.
Sure.
But I've kind of learned the first year or so I was real quiet and didn't really say much, but now I've kind of learned the way it works, and I've learned that even if the motion passes, if you don't vote for it, you at least are not just going with the flow.
Right.
And so I've learned to not just go with the flow. Kind of like if I don't think it fits, I'll vote that way.
Yeah.
So.
I heard this about boards, and first off, if you've been asked or selected or voted onto a board, you've been approved, so you don't have to prove yourself.
Yeah.
And I read this the other day, and I'm like, that's because I'm a talker.
Yeah.
But I'm on a couple of boards right now, and a couple of them I really haven't said anything on them, and I've been there a while, unless I was asked, because I want to learn what this board is doing itself. And they said there are a lot of organizations that won't even allow the new board members to say anything for the first 6 months to a year, because you've already proven your worth being on there by either, like I say, being voted or selected or asked to be on them. So you don't have to validate yourself. And for me, I love learning. As much as I enjoy talking, I know that if I listen, that's where I'm going to learn. I already know what my thought process is.
So one thing that I like about the board that I'm on out there is there was a controversial topic that came up, and it ended up not passing. It was a full house. I mean, you've been in that room. I don't know how many people fit in there. It's got to be a couple hundred.
Yeah.
It's pretty big. It was full, people standing, and there were some people who were more or less making threats. They're like, we know who you guys are, and this next this next election, you guys won't be voted. Yeah. And I was like, little do you know, everyone on this board, volunteers. Yeah. We give up our Wednesday night.
No pay.
There's no pay. We're away from our families. We've been working 12 hours. We want to go home. We're here because we care about Marana, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
we've dealt with that recently in Oro Valley with the church and all that. Just angry people. Yeah. To me, Ed and I talk about this. Okay, it's okay for us to disagree, Joseph.
Sure.
It's okay. Mm-hmm. But we don't have to be disagreeable in that process, right? I mean, I've been married to my wife 33 plus years. We disagree about a lot of stuff. Yeah. Matter of fact, we disagree with each other more than we do everybody else probably combined because we're just forced to with proximity. But it doesn't affect my love for her, and I don't think it affects her love for me.
Yeah. So
how'd we get here?
Yeah. I read this deal once, and it says you have to remember you're arguing the point, not against the other person.
Exactly.
You know, if you and me are talking about something, I'm not arguing against you. We're talking about
this.
Yeah.
Whatever this is. Yeah. But I've just seen it. So, and you know, again, I'm an older guy. I didn't see it's rude. Mm. It's disrespectful of other people. Because again, you and I are going to disagree as we get to know each other better. And Ed and I go at it pretty good sometimes, but there's never any. Well, you're a dummy because you don't agree with me or back to me. We disagree on this, and now how we gonna come to an agreement that we can make this thing work? Yeah, is it valuable enough to do that? Then we need to sit down and put personalities aside and try to figure out ways to. And it's never about what Ed and I actually argue about the most. Who the most blessed person is?
That's a good one.
Clint, I'm A1 today. I'm 1A. I'm 1A plus. I'm like, okay. I'm 1A too. Yeah. So that's a good thing. Joseph, it has been a pleasure.
Yeah, it has been.
It's been an extreme pleasure.
It has been.
I'm gonna when we get done, I'm gonna go ahead and just book this guy. So hey, I hope you've had a good time listening to Joseph. He just. Again, I love your grandfather. He's just a good dude. I saw him, and like I say, and I just gave him a big old hug. I hadn't seen him forever. And your dad, your uncles, your aunts, your cousins, your nieces and nephews, you guys are just awesome people. Yeah, well, and we appreciate what you. I mean, thanks for building this thing up so we could come have a great place to hang out.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. I'll come on anytime.
We're good. Yeah. Okay, hey guys, thank you so much. We appreciate your time as always, and hey, be nice to each other. It's just really not that hard. God bless you.